AI is really going to make things better. And I think they're using that word in a way that's such a tag word. Oh, everything's AI, but really it's just things are getting smarter. And we're using this technology to get things to move along. That's kind of where I see it at, right? All right, what's up? What's up? What's up, y'all? We're back for another episode. Welcome to our podcast. I'm your co-host, Deuce Noble.
And I'm your co-host DJ. How's it going, Deuce? What's going on today, man?
Hey man, it's been a busy start to this year, so I'm excited. And as always, the year starts off with CES, happens in Vegas this year. There's a lot of cool things, cutting edge things, and just all around great technology that was presented and unveiled at CES. So let's go ahead and give our recap on some of the things that was presented at CES. We did not get to attend this year, but watching from afar was actually pretty cool. So, yeah, DJ, let's talk about a few things that happened at CES that we saw. We'll go ahead and rack off some of our top fives and figure out what's out there. All right, man. So, what's the first thing you got lined up you saw?
I mean, we need a couple days. So first off, going back to what you said, we didn't go this year, but I did have some boots on the ground. I had some colleagues of mine that were out there, so pretty good footage, and they were FaceTiming me and kind of showing me some of the products that they were
Oh
looking
man, you
at,
was in there.
and it was I was in there. But I mean, usually we go. Like I used to
Yeah,
go every year religiously. And then I stopped going like kind of around like when the pandemic happened.
right.
But anyway, let's get to 2025. There was just a lot that was going on. Huge announcements. What I would like to start with is Nvidia. I think they really this year they kind of took it and run with it with all the headlines that came out of there. They announced their new GPUs, so the 50 series GPUs. So for all the gamers that are out there, a lot of people are kind of looking forward to that. The cool thing about their GPUs is, of course, naturally, the theme of this year also is AI. So a lot of them have a kind of cake baked into the GPUs this year. So the 5070 series of GPUs, like the 5070, RTX 5070, that one is supposedly can have the same performance if, I think utilizing DLSS or DLSS 4 as a 4090 from the previous generations, which was their flagship top of the line graphics card, the GPU. So and granted, there's probably some, perfect scenario. It definitely has to support DLSS 4, but either way, like the raw performance on things like that, I mean, is just amazing. So I was super stoked about that.
Man, all I know is those first
I
person
want a
shooter modes is
5090
going to be
myself.
going
Might not need it, but
crazy. Look, don't we won't we don't
yeah,
will we ever
yeah,
need it? Never need it, but it's always good to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. And that goes with
that's
GPUs
true.
as well. But yeah, man, no, that's a pretty cool GPU. I'm in the process of building me a new PC now. I have just an empty case and I'm ready maybe to get that started.
Yeah, yeah. I think why not? I mean, you got all the new technology. I mean, right now would be a good time, especially if you drop one of those, 50 series GPUs in there. That have all the AI enhancements, and there's a lot more. Trust me, that was just like one of it. I mean, they announced some new chips. Of course, they made some hardware announcements, which GPU is one of the hardware announcements, but just all around the full gamut. NVIDIA really came, and AMD also they came to the party to play as well with some of their announcements and now announcing some of their new chips as well. So um, that's on my side of the fence. What you got? What were some of the things that kind of caught your eye?
Man, there's a few things. Not only was it, the NVIDIA and the GPUs, but also, I mean, Samsung, they unveiled its AI for all vision, what they're coming at to ways to integrate AI into everyday experiences, which is interesting because, I know they're not only Samsung, but Google and Apple had their Apple Vision Pro that released last year, but Google had also released Android XR. So getting to see what AI looks like in everyday vision is going to be pretty interesting to see how we transform from what we do in our everyday lives to now including things like that in it, right? And that was in their, it was really evident in their new lineup of TVs. As always, Samsung is top of the line with their TVs, and different things, especially appliances and everything too. So you can now see that they're going to have AI included in all their new appliances, new things rolling out coming in 2025 and 2026. And of course, like you said, DJ, the theme this year, the unequivocal quote unquote theme, I guess, for CES was AI, right? And how can we put it into everything? And I think that's going to be the common factor going forward as we review some of these other things, right? I think even with Samsung and how they're utilizing their Bixby for voice recognition and different things. But they are going to add a lot more to their platform as well, just to be really running up a competition with the Apples and the Googles and the Open AIs and everyone else that's doing their own thing with the automations.
Just, I mean, and I'm a huge, of course, we're all fans, especially on our channel podcast, as far as for, AI and all, and just technology in general, right? We're huge tech fans. But it's like, how much is too much for like consumer fatigue, right? Because I'm like, my mom is just like, I don't want, all this AI doing all this stuff. And like, she has a perception of like certain things about AI. And so I'm just wondering, like, from a consumer standpoint, it's like, will they be overwhelmed with all the AI options? Now, some of it, when you have really good use cases and you're solving, some solid problems with it, like the robot vacuum. Like I really liked it, and I think it was from RoboVac. Essentially, that one, we've had robot vacuums for a couple years now. They vacuum around, they got smarter, they get vision, but now there's an arm that comes out of one of them, and it would actually pick up like things that was announced. So I'll put the details in the description below. But essentially, with that RoboVac, it'll will go around the house, not only vacuum and everything like that, but if you had socks, if you have cords, if you have whatever's on the ground, if you have a puppy, they're leaving their toys around, kids,
Man, I could
it would pick it up and it
absolutely
was like
use
putting it in a
that.
box. It was put in a box, so basically, it was put in a box and then vacuuming. They had another one that was able to climb stairs. So before, if you have a two-story home, you'd probably either have to unplug, take it upstairs and all those things, or buy two of them, one for upstairs, one for downstairs. Now you have one, and it's able to climb the stairs and go upstairs and vacuum. Like it's just those use cases are really solid, and that's more on the robotics, but with the computer vision enhancements too. Like I think just which is AI, like you know, I like what I'm seeing when it comes to some of these products. I think they're solving some solid problems that are out there with some of those.
You made a good point as far as if AI is going to be a little overwhelming. Like I said, this is, I guess you could say, the common theme going on with everything. And I feel like a lot of those options could be overwhelming. It is in everything. We see it as far as, oh, AI this, AI that. A lot of people, like you said, to your mom, or just, you might have a even older generations, they're like, man, how do I utilize all these things? All this doesn't make sense to me, right? So it's one of those things where it's like you have to, not necessarily you have to, but adapting to this, the adaptability of all these gadgets is really going to take the next step, because you've seen how technology has transformed, we could say, just over the last 5 years. And now we're in that next wave where now a lot of things are going to be automated for us, right? Not necessarily automated, but uh, seemingly assuming makes it more assistive for how the things work in any instance, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's kind of cool, but it's going to take, I feel like, a little bit of learning curve as well, right? If you think about it, you gotta get these products, get these gadgets and into consumers' hands. And once these consumers start to use
Yeah.
them, how much of the AI are they actually using? Because it's, those things are there for you to use, but they're not also the only way you could use it, right? So I think even with like the TVs, the appliances, a lot of different things that are going to, even the new laptops, even with the vacuum, like these are things are going to take time to adjust to and adapt. But I think that, like you said, this is still something on a curve where CES is always on point, right? And a lot of these things at CES tend to take a little bit. They may not go into production right away, right? Some will, like, the big name things, the TVs and everything, they go into production right away. But yeah, that's kind of
Yeah.
where I'm at with it. So I don't know. I'm interested to see kind of how the adaptability will take and the structure that everyone will take with that. to kind of, hey, I'm using this how it's supposed to be used, right? So
Yeah. And there was the, like going back to NVIDIA again, they announced like AI agents and the agentic workflow. And we all know that 2025 is going to be the year of AI agents and just how they're going to break into the workforce and all of those other things. But that's going to be for another episodes where we kind of dive deeper into that. To get back to CES 2025, I want to jump back into kind of gaming because this year was also it looks like handhelds are coming back. And I don't know, Deuce, if you remember Game Boy or
Game
Game
Boy,
Gear
listen, of
or,
course, but I'm gonna tell
yeah,
you
Game Boy,
the
Game
the
Gear. Yeah.
best handheld gaming system was the PSP, hands down. I don't care.
Oh
Listen,
man, I
Game
mean,
Boy. Look,
okay.
listen,
I had a PSP, but
but I'm gonna say this:
everybody's gonna tell you it was a DS. Everybody's gonna tell you it was the DS. Like any one of the DSs, they were
they
actually
were.
one. Now PSP,
But I'm gonna tell you this.
I've had
So
the
I'm gonna tell you
PSP. I do
this:
like it, but
Game Boy and Game Boy crawled so DS could walk. But listen, but then the DS walked so PSP could run a little bit. But all of that still doesn't take the cake on what's coming out now. You know what I mean? Like now,
yeah,
like I mean,
yeah, yeah.
Nintendo Switch, has been around for a long time now. That's been kind of the ideal handheld, system, so to speak, right? But
Well, Switch Lite, and then also the Steam Deck came
yeah,
out a couple years ago right now. So Steam Deck was out, and that's been out there prominent, especially for your PC players. But this year, I think what it is like those things are catching wind. There's the rumors of an Xbox handheld that's coming out that wasn't announced, but what I guess two things. The Lenovo Legion Go, I think is what it was called, is that's a handheld PC that they have. That had all kind of highlights and accolades. And there was Asus, I think the ROG, they had one as well, a gaming tablet or something like that. But either way, with the Lenovo Legion, that handheld, a lot of videos and you can kind of see people using that. They threw a lot of great hardware in there. But the cool thing about it is it can use Steam Deck OS. Which I think is coming out in a little while, and also it could use a Windows as a platform as well. So, it's just great to kind of see some innovation going on in that space and the hardware that's pumping out. But one thing I have reduced, do you see yourself whipping out something like that, wherever, like, what's your use case? You out there? Because, like, for me, if I'm going to do something like that, I have a cell phone. If I am going to game on something like that, and I may not be who they target. I like
all
technology
right.
and I game, my kid game and all this other stuff, but I just don't
Well,
know.
you gotta.
Maybe I just,
I think you gotta look at it like this. The use cases have now changed. Like a lot more people are on the go now. Ever since you could say, we would say BC. Before COVID, people like to be at home gaming. But you gotta you gotta think, right? You gotta think look at how gaming has changed. We used to all go over each other's house, everyone play, you lose, get off the sticks. Then we transform to online
yeah,
gameplay, right? Online gameplay, look,
yeah,
right? So now I think we're in the sense where people are back on the go and they like to do things in a lot of different places. And obviously, the
yeah,
PS5, the Xbox One, or the Xbox Series X, you can't take those with you, right? And I think, what was it? I think it was
I
Microsoft.
mean,
You can, right? But you can. So that's why I feel like handhelds are coming back because people would take their Switches on the
yeah.
go. You gotta think, was it? I think it was Xbox. They tried to, was it Xbox, Microsoft, where they tried to you can download the stuff on the Xbox Live app and take it kind of on the go. I think that was a thing, right?
Yeah,
Even
Xbox's strategy is switching to that whole Xbox Anywhere. So they're starting to say anything's an Xbox, right? So if you want to game on PC, if you want to do, there's going to be another episode that we're definitely going to talk
yeah,
about
yeah, we need
because
to go
I
into
think the
gaming.
years of like traditional just console,
No, I'm
yeah,
gonna I'm
traditional
gonna just
just
say this.
console is
I'm gonna
like,
say this is the last thing I'll bring up about gaming. Stadia, I feel like was a little bit early as far as cloud
yeah,
gaming because the way Stadia worked, you could take it anywhere. You could pick up a game that you were playing, you could pick it back up on your TV, on your tablet, or on your PC, phone or tablet or PC,
yeah,
right? You could pause it here. I can pick it up on the TV with the controller. Pause it, pick it back up on my phone,
yeah.
right? So I think they were a little early when they came out. I feel like they should have kept on with that. But
I hated to see Stadia go. I
I
mean,
man, I
I have
hated to see
founders,
them
my
go.
founders controller somewhere.
I hated to
And
see
every
it.
and the weird part about it is people say that they had so many issues with it. I had four, like me and my boys, like we all were streaming at the same time. And and they're like all the bandwidth and it slows it down, you get lag. We were all playing the same game like at the same time with Stadia, like with each other, streaming the game, no issues whatsoever. So, and I can't speak for everybody, of course, it depends on where you're located, if you're next to a data center or whatever the case is, or your bandwidth. But anyway, we had a great time with it, like you did. And yeah, you're right. You could be anywhere. One of my sons, he he says he has negative aura for his freshman year. He was at school and he had Stadia going on his like little school laptop because remember the GPU performance was elsewhere. It didn't matter, so you could be playing on your school computer because you were streaming the game or whatever. And he was just like he face palming. He's like, I don't know why I was doing that, but either way, that was funny.
No, no, that
It
like I
was
said,
funny.
those are definitely ahead of its time. But all right, back to CES 2025. So a couple things that another thing that I was actually interested in, and that is really changing the game is in the automotive industry, right? BMW and a few others. I think Honda also had these little kind of heads up windshield displays, right? You could say it's more advanced heads up display, but they were showcasing a lot of different things to do with your car, and of course AI as well, and especially Honda
Mhm.
announced a pricing for its a Fila electric sedan. I think that's how you pronounce it. Starting at a
Mm.
whopping, astronomical 89.9, and who can everyone can afford that, right? But it's really starting to show you how not only is technology affecting some of the gadgets that we use every day, but now it's getting into more so into the cars, and not just EVs, but
Yeah.
gas vehicles, hybrid vehicles. These are coming more autonomous as we go, and I think BMW is one of them. Honda's always leading the case there at CES, so you'll see a lot if you're a Honda Acura fan. But yeah, I think that's going to be really interesting to see coming forward. But I'm a big car guy, so I really like to see some of the things that go on in the automotive side when CES comes around.
Yeah, man. CES is always every time I go, I love to go to the automotive section, and I mean, I'm not like a you know uh car guy to say like with engines and all this other stuff. Like I don't understand that, but like now this electric vehicle, like
He
I kind of
said,
get those because it's
he
really just the
said,
battery, some wheels, and
he
like
said,
I get
man,
it,
I
like
ain't
but
worried about
like
that.
mechanic,
Yeah,
like I'm not a
it's
mechanic.
my Bessie and the Tessie right here, bro.
Yeah, yeah. Once that happened, I was just boom on there. I was pretty early to electric, but so it's always been pretty cool about the automotive, the cars that they had in there because I mean they just have these visions of like I guess way back in the day it's like 2025 what it would look like, and we don't see those on the road, but now, but the concept vehicles that they have is just like it's. Just to think that you're going to one day sit in the car, may not even be pointing direction of the road and just relax. And kind of like what they showed off at the Robo Taxi events, which we
Man,
covered also on the channel.
all I can say is
Yeah,
if you want
yeah,
to know what that looks like, go watch iRobot. I'm pretty sure they got it down. Like if you think about it,
yeah. Our Robo has a
if
lot.
you think
Yeah,
about how they were driving an iRobot, even with the Robo Taxi, great movie. But no, I think overall CES this year and every year, of course, was transformative in innovation, in particular with the AI. I think, and I
yeah,
mean, it just really goes to show how much money has gone into is continually going into this industry, transforming technology with AI, but also adding to things that you didn't even think maybe not be possible, but didn't think that, oh, you know what? I didn't think you could make that better with AI, right? And I
yeah,
think one of the things that some people may misconstrue as far as AI is like, hey, we're adding AI to everything. What does that mean? And like, it doesn't mean this thing is going to be, talking to you. However, it will be smarter and learn, not on its own, but learn from outside sources, right? It can grasp things and understand, hey, if I've seen this enough times, I understand what this is supposed to do and supposed to be. For example, you can talk about kitchen gadgets, like we talked about the refrigerators that Samsung has been doing, but also smaller appliances, toasters, your coffee makers. those are going to be starting to have.
AI toaster is
But you got to
crazy.
think about it. You got to think like I'm pretty sure it's not on my docket, but I'm pretty sure there's some out there that was at CES. It's probably not, big news, but it's small things like that where you're having these things uses smart sense technology that you're gathering data, putting it into some type of software and telling it, hey, this toe should be this color shade of brown, mocha. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But it's the small appliances like that. Making your coffee. Like AI is really gonna make things better, and I think that they're using that word in a way that's such a tag word. Oh, everything's AI, but really it's just things are getting smarter, and we're using this technology
yeah,
to get things to move along. But that's kind of where I see it
for
at,
sure.
right?
Yeah, I mean, AI is enabling a lot more personalization, I would say. So you will hopefully see products that will, um, will start being more personalized. So maybe it will know how you like your toast or how you like whatever the case is, right? Like you can put it in there, kind of let it know about you, and then like it'll optimize things to the best settings. It is meant to alleviate kind of the thought process, and that could be in a bad way because you do want to think for yourself.
Right.
It's because like
But it's
as adults you get decision fatigue, you get all these
right.
things, right?
It's
Like you
meant to
want
seamlessly,
sometimes to be on easy mode. And I think that's where the sweet spot is. So as
yeah.
product managers, product individuals, they're looking at how can they get that bliss point? Like how can we can service how can we solve a problem that really takes away that provides the most value right out of these features. So that's kind of like where that
Yeah,
goal
and I think
is.
it's ultimately they want to seamlessly integrate it into our lives so that it's like you said, we're not necessarily not thinking for ourselves, but it's less, um, what's the word I'm thinking of? Decision fatigue, right? That the decision fatigue on things, it
Yeah,
kind of assists you. It's like, okay, cool, yeah, this does work, right? Or when you have, so this works for me for doing these things. So it seamlessly integrates into your lives to make your life better. And like, I want to say more whole, but
yeah,
just enhances, right? Enhances whatever you have or whatever you
yeah, for
do, right?
sure.
So it's supposed to be an enhancement. So I think that that's where innovation should be, right? An enhancement to anything
Yeah.
that you have.
And to so to keep us rolling on here, because we can go on and on about it. We definitely got to touch on the display. So this year was also brightness, and of course, the battle between Samsung and LG when it comes to the screens and monitors and
Well, we
everything. So
know who
I
won
think there
that.
was a well, Samsung had this OLED that they unveiled. It had like a 500 hertz refresh rate, which is just crazy. So, a lot of gamers are just, they like, especially the professional gamers with the high refresh rates, so they can see everything that happens and have the instant kind of reaction time to it. We're just all over that. So I saw a lot of kind of reviews on there. And then LG, like with their OLED, is just like super bright. And I forgot how they did it. It's like layers of OLED, basically, like maybe some four layers so they can get peak brightness. But they were super bright from the videos I can see. I can
Yeah.
only imagine it in
So
person. So I can't wait to really see those items in
LG's
person.
OLED TV, they get really, really deep blacks as well. And 3 years running, they've won
Yep.
Best Innovation Award at CES for their screens. So LG's killing it right now. Their LG OLED
Yeah.
killing it. And I've wanted an LG OLED for a
I mean,
while.
yeah, because they had well the LG. They also and all of them. They had some. Panasonic actually came back. So Panasonic
What?
hadn't been, producing products. So Panasonic actually made a big comeback this
Man,
year,
next
and they
thing you
had some
know,
new
we're gonna
products or
see
whatever.
Radio
And
Shack back. Man, like if
yeah,
anything goes together well, it's Panasonic and Radio Shack. Them things were
and Radio
like think
Shack.
about it. When you went to Radio Shack, man, they had the Panasonic, the speakers and everything. Come on, man.
Just know you got somebody that's gonna be listening that's gonna be like, "What's
Radio
Radio
Shack,
Shack?"
look, they
Just
gonna
know
call
that.
us. We gonna call us unks,
Yeah,
bro, because we old now.
yeah, I know.
Look,
We
that's how
both
you show
turned into
your
unks right
age,
now.
man.
Yeah,
Dang. All right,
yeah.
so Panasonic is back.
Oh, those are the tech yucks. But yeah, so Panasonic came back, so they released product. They had TV there. And then they've been they haven't produced product, or at least they haven't been at CES within the past couple of years. So it was kind of good to see them because competition, wins for the consumer, right? Like everybody's competing. But going back to LG, definitely they've been winning stuff. But you see like curved TVs, you see like these TVs that come out of platforms, TVs that are invisible, like you can't really see them until they're turned on or certain angles. Like, they just have a lot of there. So it's cool to kind of see that. One, if you haven't been to CES, I would definitely say to go. You can go as an exhibitor. A lot of people that if you're in corporate, you can ask to see if they can sponsor you to go. Typically, the hotels, well, yeah, hotels do get pretty expensive, but if you book earlier, of course they're a lot cheaper. But I'm
Yes.
always a big fan, of going there. But
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, like we talked about before, there were processors, the GPUs, like specifically that I was talking about with the NVIDIA earlier, before ARM partnerships that were announced as well. So it
You
was a
know,
lot.
DJ,
It's kind of hard to kind of put
I
all
think we
together, but
might be able to benefit from another. I think we could benefit from another episode diving into a few more things from CES because, like you said,
maybe.
there's so much that came out. It's hard to cover, but I think that
We didn't get on the
man,
refrigerators.
like we
We didn't
just
get the
touched on it, like
refrigerator.
we
Yeah, yeah,
lightly, right? So I think no, I think
yeah,
that if anyone listening or watching has experience, has been to CES or has never heard of it, or even has heard of it, but like has some of the things they thought were pretty interesting, let us know in the comments. We want to hear your thoughts on what CES brought to the table, and if you want to hear us go a little bit more in depth and unpack some of the cool things that was at CES, let us know. We will do that. We'll make a new episode for that.
for sure. We definitely will. Always good, a pleasure. Yeah, so we'll be back again just to kind of talk probably some more about CES. Definitely leave in the comments about anything you want us to dive in deeper. We'll also have some runway ML. We've been playing around with some of the text to video models and like some of those. So we'll have some content that'll be coming out around how to use that, how to kind of incorporate that into your content creation businesses, workflows and everything like that. There's a lot of AI automation that we'll be talking about as well, especially if, like for the marketing agencies and other things. So stay tuned. 2025 is
2025 is going to
it's
be
gonna be
a
crazy.
crazy year. All right, guys. As
It's gonna be
always,
crazy.
like, comment, subscribe, and share. And we will see you guys next time.
Peace.